And it says we're recording. So you want to go to exam 1 review. I haven't opened that up yet. Let's see here. Reviews, exam. So this is chapter 2 review, basically.
Yes.
Okay. So what do you got here?
Now I'm feeling a little dumb. Can you help me on number 7 again?
Number 7 on the review.
Yep.
Oh, convert to angles, degrees, minutes, and seconds. All right.
Because I can figure out, I think I understand, but I'm not quite sure. So I was able to get the 49 because you're taking the 0.82 and you times it by 60, correct?
Okay. So let's see, we're converting, so we can kind of ignore the negative. So it's the 0.82 degrees that we're most concerned around.
Yeah.
So I've got 0.82 degrees to minutes and seconds, okay? So yeah, so 0.82 times 60 is 49 degrees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then you would do
Or 49 minutes, I should say.
Yeah. And then you do, is it 0.82 times 3600?
Yeah, or this is more Jeopardy.
Yes, 0.82 times 36
times 3600.
0.2. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, actually, it's 0.002, right?
Oh, okay, that's right. Oh, wait.
So that would be 7 seconds.
But that's not what it is on the review, so that's where I got a little confused.
Oh, it's not? What did we do here?
The answer was C, if I remember right.
So you just multiply 0.2 times 60 and you get 12.
Oh, it's 0.2
Oh, that's what you
times
did.
60.
That was dumb.
Oh, okay.
Because we already multiplied it by 60 to find the
we did it once already.
49.2.
There we go.
We just took the leftover,
Okay.
multiplied by 60 again.
I need to review too, apparently.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, what else you guys got?
Number 4. I can't remember the smallest possible angle. Like, that part always confuses me.
Okay. How we do this one? Who knows?
You subtract it from 360 because it says it's coterminal with a given angle.
Right. So equals 600 minus 360 is 240.
That's it.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
Sorry. Should I make it harder next time?
No, I just make it harder myself. So you don't need to make it harder. Thanks.
Okay. What else you guys got?
So in converting between radians and degrees, the pi goes on top. It's 2 pi over 180 if we're trying to get degrees to cancel, right? And then it's...
The easiest thing to do there is if you're in radians, then you're going to want radians on the bottom, and so therefore you're going to want pi, right?
Okay.
And you're going to want degrees on top.
Okay.
Okay. If you have degrees, you're going to want degrees on the bottom, and you're going to want the pi on the top, pi radians on the top.
Okay.
So the easiest thing to do is just remember whatever you have. So this is where, in the first case, pi is on the bottom, and in this case, pi is on the top. And so the idea is you just cancel your units. So degrees always go with degrees.
Okay.
And pi always goes with radians.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can you do number 38? It's the range that I struggle with, please.
38. I need to turn you guys up. You're pretty quiet today for some reason. 38. Determine the period and the range for the function. So, what's the formula for the period?
2 pi divided by b.
What's b in this case?
1.
1. Yeah, because it's the number in front of the x, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's got to be 2 pi. So it's either this answer or this answer.
Mm-hmm.
And now the range, how do we find the range?
You know, that's a great question. I
Ah,
tried to YouTube it and figure it out, and I couldn't.
so who knows the answer to this?
Y'all make me feel better.
So our range for a cosine function is always, without any translations or whatever they're called, goes from -1 to +1.
Right.
Well, it goes the range of the y values. So if we're adding 5, that moves the whole wavy thing up 5. And so it's just 5 more than -1 and
Yeah,
5 more
so-
than +1.
Yeah, so essentially, yeah, so we've got a negative in front of here. So normally, under normal circumstances, we would say the range is -1 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
But this 5 moves everything up 5. And
Okay.
so -1 plus 5 is 4. And 1 plus 5 is 6.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's that answer there.
How
Perfect.
does the cosine change when it's negative?
Good question. Who knows the answer to that?
Isn't it reflected over the x-axis?
Yeah. So
And instead
with
of
a
starting
normal
at,
sine function, here we're going to cut, ooh, thought I was going to cut that out. Okay, so with a normal cosine function, what does it look like? Oh, we got red today, that's fine.
It starts at 1 and then comes down.
Yeah, so we're going to have something, I didn't draw it long enough, but anyway, like that. So what does this negative do to me?
Oh, that'll start at -1 and then go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to do the same thing. It's just going to start down here. It's going to reflect it, just like that. Okay. All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. What else do you guys have? So you should like this because now it is Jeopardy. You can ask me questions.
Can you go over 43? Just more of the graphing.
Graphing's what we love, right?
No, absolutely not.
All right. So graph the function over 1 period interval. And it's interesting that so let's think about this for a minute. Okay. How would you, actually, let's talk about how would you attack something like this? Because we got something everywhere, right?
Wouldn't you have to first distribute the 4?
No.
Oh. So I'm already off. I'm already lost.
Would you find the period?
Yeah, let's find the period. First thing we want to find is the period. And the period is?
Is it so 2 pi divided by 4?
Yeah, 2 pi over b, which is 2 pi over 4. So that would
Yeah.
be
1/2.
pi halves, right?
Pi half. Okay.
No, it would be pi.
Hmm?
No,
No.
I can't do this in my head.
Unless it's 4 divided by 2 pi, no, then it would be pi.
Pi divided by 4. Yeah, so it is pi
Or
halves.
2 pi.
Okay, so our period is pi halves. That's our period. Okay, so we're only going to do this over pi halves, so that's interesting. Okay. Now, what would be the next thing to look at?
Amplitude.
So yeah, it would go a half because that isn't the first number, the half cosine, isn't that the amplitude?
So the amplitude's only going to go up to half. So we're going to go, instead of going all the way up to 1, we're going to start here, a half. Okay.
And then we'll move over.
So before we shift, we'll worry about the shift at the end. But so
Okay.
normally, if I were drawing this, we're only going to pi halves, right? So I'm going to go down, and I'm going to stop at pi halves, right? Now let's talk about that shift. Do we want to distribute that 4 for the shift?
No. Is that what? I don't know. Is that
Should we vote on that one?
So it'd be 4 pi thirds?
What do you guys think?
I don't think so.
Only got one voice proclaiming here. What do you guys think? Oh, we're all getting nodded heads. I can't see you unless I'm looking at you. Okay.
We don't know.
Should we peek here?
Thanks, Nicole.
Let's see. 43, because I can't remember either. 43 is B. So we're shifting at pi thirds. So yes, you don't have to worry about that 4. Okay. So this is your shift. So we're going to shift it over to pi thirds. We're going to go down now. Well, it's going to be easier to look at the answer here. Okay, so we've shifted it over pi thirds. We're going to go pi thirds to 5 pi 6. Is that a whole pi unit? Oh, it's pi halves units. That's right. So pi thirds plus pi halves is 5 pi 6. And so, yes, there you have it.
And how do we find where it crosses the x-axis?
That's a good question. So it would probably be easier to figure out. So let's back up here. We don't have, okay. If we were drawing this and it's not multiple choice, and it won't be multiple choice on here. So the easiest thing, here's what I'm going to do. Let me see if I can copy. Oh, it's not going to let me copy that. Here's how I would probably do it. Okay, so I'm going to ignore the shift for now. Okay. We know, so with no shift, we're only going to pi halves, right? So we're going to go something like this. Okay. So that would mean that this here, this is going to be pi over 4, right? Pi over 4. Okay. Which is going to mean that this value here, which I didn't draw it very well, is going to be pi over 8. And then this is going to be, therefore, 3 pi over 8, right? 3 pi over 8. Are you with me? And then this is pi halves, right? So I've got all 4 points, but this is non-shifted, okay? Now I have to shift it over pi thirds. Okay, so if I shift it over, it's going to start here, and it's going to go to 5 pi 6. I didn't draw that very well, but that's good enough for what I'm doing. Okay, so now the question is, we're going to need to find this point and these other 2 points. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is to take, well, let's take this piece here. That's going to be pi fourths plus pi thirds. Okay, and so probably the easiest way to do this pi fourths plus pi thirds. So we're going to get these in units of 12. This is going to be 3 plus 4, which is going to be 7 pi. Okay, so this value here is 7 pi twelfths. Does that make sense?
I don't
Nodding your
understand.
head, I can't see you.
Sorry. Why did you take those two? Why did you take pi fourths and pi thirds? Is there a specific reason? Like
Yeah.
how would you know?
So here, yes, there is a specific reason. Okay. Remember, I did this first before it was shifted.
Mhm.
Okay. This red curve and this green curve, even though they don't look like it, should be identical curves.
Okay.
Okay. And so the idea here is I'm taking the center spot, which is pi thirds, but I'm
Okay.
shifting it over, excuse me, pi fourth, but I'm shifting it pi thirds. So all you have to do is, so I'm going to be basically adding pi thirds to all three of those.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so can you, so if I take pi eighths, and pi thirds, what would be the answer here?
You need to have a common
Common
denominator
denominator,
first.
yeah.
Which is?
Is it 24?
No more Jeopardy.
Hey, you said we could.
Yeah, Jeopardy is only the first question. After that, you got to answer them.
Okay.
Okay. And so
then
this
it'd
becomes 3 plus 8, right?
Yeah,
Pi. So this is going to be 11 pi
1 pi over 24.
over 24. Okay, so that's what. So this one here, 11. Here, I'll put it below. 11 pi over 24. And then what's this point here?
Would you take the 2 pi over 3 plus the 3 pi over 8? Or I mean the 3 pi, or pi over 3?
3
Yes.
pi eighths plus pi thirds, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 3 pi eighths plus pi thirds. Common denominator is 24. This becomes
Is it 17?
3 times 3 is 9 pi plus 8 pi. So that's going to be 17 pi over 24. Okay.
Yeah, I guess one of my questions would be like the second part of that problem is pretty easy. You just add the, do what we just did. But how would I find the original, where the original crosses x-axis? Because I would be tempted to put the crossing at pi 6 and pi thirds. So
Because that's what was on the chart. Yeah, so the easiest thing for me, that's why I went with the middle first. You know that the period's pi halves, right?
Yeah.
So halfway through is going to be pi fourths.
Okay, and then you just do a quarter.
And then halfway through is pi eighths.
Okay.
And I probably should have put pi eighths over here. This is on the wrong side of pi 6. It should look more like the green curve. But anyway, yeah. And then, so then pi eighths plus pi fourths is 3 pi eighths.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Yeah, that makes sense.
No, that's a good question. Because you were just going, how did you do that so fast? But that's how I did it so fast. Because the middle point's in the middle, and then this point's in the halfway of that, and then just add it to the other one. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. What else you got?
So on that same problem, the way we find the phase shift, is it just, so like in that original one, it's x minus pi over 3. Is the phase shift just like pi over 3 because it's the, if it's negative, it's positive? Okay.
Right. Yeah, if that was a plus pi thirds, it would shift the other direction.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay. What else you guys got? Does this feel like ancient history, learning all this stuff again?
A little bit.
It was like a month ago. Imagine if this was a regular semester, then it would be like 2 months ago.
It's true.
Can we go over number 12 on the review?
Number 12, find the measures of two angles, one positive and one negative, that are coterminal with the given angle. So, how would you do this one?
Not sure. I was trying to look at it and I had like all my work written down, but I can't really understand what I was doing.
Any ideas?
Would you subtract 5 pi over 5 and then add 5 pi over 5? Or am I thinking of the wrong thing?
So 5 pi over 5, would that be coterminal?
Oh, no. It'd have to be, oh, shoot. Okay.
Because 5 pi over 5, you're just adding pi, right?
Uh-huh.
But you should be adding 2 pi.
Oh, gotcha.
So what would 2 pi be in terms of fifths?
10 pi over 5.
10 pi over 5. So if I add 10 pi over 5, that's going to be 12 pi over 5, right? And then if I subtract 10 pi over 5, 2 minus 10 is
Negative 8.
negative 8. So this would be your answer right here.
So you just basically find...
So you're adding and
multiply
subtracting 2 pi.
Yeah, so multiply whatever it is by 2 pi and then subtract and add those two numbers. Is that right?
Let's say that again.
So like in this case, you'd multiply 5 pi over 5 by 2, right? Because that's one full rotation.
Yeah.
And
So
then
let me
add
say it this way: you're adding and subtracting 2 pi.
Okay.
And then you just need to get a common denominator.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any others?
If you don't mind doing another graphing one, do you want to do 50?
50.
So I think the graphing ones are the ones I feel the most lost on. So.
Okay. All right. So the first question: what does the cotangent look like? Here, I'm not going to look at you now. If you guys want to air draw it. Yeah, it's going to be kind of we kind of call those an S curve. So does it go high to low or low to high?
Low to high.
It's going to go low to high, right? Now, what's the period for a tangent or cotangent?
Pi, right? Sorry.
Period
pi.
is pi, right? And so pi over b is still going to be pi in this case. Now the question is, Does it start at 0 or does it start at pi halves? Or where do you put your asymptotes?
You put them at pi, right? Pi and negative pi.
Well, if I put them at pi and negative pi, that's going to be a period of 2 pi.
Oh.
So it's
yeah.
either got to be at 0 and pi or at negative pi halves and positive pi halves.
Gotcha.
Which
So
the
maybe it'd
period,
be between 0 and pi.
Now, I'm not too concerned about the 1/3 when you're drawing these, just so you know. Let's look at the answers here. We know for a fact, so since it goes from low to high, A and B are both wrong, right? We know that right off the bat.
Yep.
So the question is, if we're drawing one period, does it go through the center or does it go from negative pi to 0?
so the review is actually saying it's either A or B.
Am I getting my mixed up there?
Yeah, so
Is-
tangent low to high, and
Tangent goes low to
cotangent
high,
goes
cotangent
high to
goes
low.
high to
Oh,
low.
so
Yeah.
these are tangents. Okay. Okay. All right. So I messed up on that one. Yes. So it should go from high to low then. Okay. Yeah. So C and D are tangent functions. I knew that. So A or B. Okay. So now the question is, and the thing that I hate about this that I'm going to definitely want in here, I'm going to want to see your asymptotes. So do the asymptotes go on the axis and at pi, or do they go?
Yeah, both of them are on pi, and then the y-axis. Sorry, could you hear me?
Say that again.
Yeah, the asymptotes will be on negative pi, the y-axis, and pi, and so on.
On 0 and pi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should have asymptotes on 0 and pi. Now, as we look at these two here, this one looks like it shifted up. What is that? That's about 1.5 units. So yeah, it's got to be B.
So 1/3, would that make it
So
I guess
1/3 just
curve
makes
more horizontal?
yeah, 1/3. You think 1/3 is your amplitude essentially, and it's really hard to draw amplitudes. Let me see here. There's a website called Wolfram Alpha. This will be here we go. Just to show you the difference between graph tangent of x. Okay, so this is your graph tangent of x. So you can kind of see that there. Now let's do graph 1/3 tangent of x. You can't really tell the difference. That's why I don't care about it that much. It just changes the steepness of the curve.
Can you graph 2 tangent of x? See if
That's a
it's
good
just
idea.
Steeper. What the
Yeah,
heck?
you really can't tell. That's why I really don't care. And 1/3. Let's see if I can do two of them on the same graph. Okay, so there you go. So 2 tangent of x is going to be steeper, and 1/3 tangent of x is going to be more L-shaped.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
And I don't think I would ask you to graph both of these on here at the same time. That's why, if you get the basic shape there, I'm good with that.
So real quick, our asymptotes for tangent are at negative pi halves and pi halves, but our asymptotes for cotangent are at 0 and pi.
That is correct.
Okay.
And just to make sure, here we'll change this to cotangents. Or maybe we should do, here, we're going to leave that the same. Well, so then you can see the shift. Kind of see the shift. Yeah, but so the cotangent, you can see 0 and pi. And the tangent, you can see
Pi halves.
negative pi halves and positive pi halves. Except for, oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so yeah, they're shifted. You can kind of see it better on this repeating one, but. Okay,
So with
but
that,
you
can
can't
you
use that on the quit test, right?
can we do
Go ahead,
number
Nicole.
48?
Number what?
48 to go along with asymptotes.
48. I lost my thing here. 48. Find the equations for all vertical asymptotes for the function. Okay, that's a good one. So the cosecant is what? What's the reciprocal function?
Sine.
Sine. So here's probably how I would do this, because I can't remember. Okay, so I've got the cosecant of 8x. So what's your period?
Are we gonna do the period for sine or for the cosecant?
Let's do it with the sine first, because that'll help us. It'll be the same for the cosecant.
So it'd be 2 pi divided by 8, which would
So
be
that would be pi fourths, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I were drawing, if I were drawing the sine function, okay, and this would be a good quiz question for you all because you were asking me how I got the values. So if this value here is pi fourths, now you guys have to tell me what the other three markers are.
The
What's this?
halfway would be pi eighths, right? And then
Correct.
pi 12 would be the quarter marker, and a 3/4 would be 3 pi 12.
No,
Oh,
you got the pi eighths right.
no, correct.
16th.
Pi 6 would be the
Pi
one between pi
16ths.
8.
16. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
pi
right.
16ths. It's halfway.
Yeah.
Pi 16ths, and
Yeah,
this one
3
would
pi
be
Pi
16th.
6.
3 pi 16ths. Okay, does that make sense?
Mhm.
I think of it as a ruler. You know, when you look at a ruler.
Yeah. I mean, I always start with the period, then I go halfway, then I go halfway again, and then you add those two and you get that one. Okay, so my normal sine function, let's see, I don't have, so if I go up and down 1, right? So this is just 1 unit up and 1 unit down. So my normal sine function is going to look like this, right? Okay.
Yep.
So now, where are my asymptotes? I'll draw those in maroon, no, red.
Is it everywhere that it hits the x-axis, so all the 0?
Yes, I'm going to have an x. I'm going to have one here on the x-axis. I'm going to have one here. And I'm going to have one here. Oh, that's crooked. If I were to finish drawing it, It's going to go like this and like this. And so because I've got those, I've got x equals 0. I guess I'll draw it here. Pi 8ths and pi 4ths. Okay. Now, that's kind of annoying in the fact that which of those formulas is the right one. I mean, I drew it here, but these are repeating. So which of those answers would be the correct?
B.
B? Is that the same as what I've got here?
Pi 8 plus K pi 8.
Pi 8ths plus K pi 8ths. Yeah, that's right. Because we're going to repeat it every pi 8ths.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Can we go over 49 as well?
Decide if B and D are different.
I think
Yeah,
the
they
right
are.
answer is D. I think the
Yeah, actually, these are pretty similar.
What's the
Because if
difference
K is-
between them?
If K is 0, actually, if K is 0, you're going to get pi 8ths here. Oh, you're not going to get 0 though. This one leaves off the 0.
Oh,
Whereas
gotcha.
D would work.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But isn't 0 one of our asymptotes?
Yeah, but if I put a 0 here, it says my first asymptote's at pi 8ths, and so you're missing the 0.
Oh, so the answer is D.
The answer is D. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. All right. What was the question?
49.
49. Find the exact expression for the value cotangent of negative 5 pi 6. Okay. What's your reference angle?
Your reference angle would be pi 6ths. Wouldn't it be in quadrant 3?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yes, it would be in quadrant 3. So, was there a question?
Well, yeah. Why would it be in quadrant 3? Because if we're going back negative 5 pi 6,
What's 6 pi 6?
that's
That would be
300
pi, right?
Or
6 pi 6 would be just pi.
okay. So wouldn't it be
So
quadrant
this
2?
angle would be pi 6.
If it was
We're measuring
positive, it would be in quadrant 2.
Yes, we're measuring
Yeah,
it
so
this way.
When it's negative, it's reflected over the x-axis.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. All right. So our reference angle here is pi over 6. Now, it's probably easier to remember what is the tangent of pi 6.
Square root of 3 over 3. Square root of 3 over 3.
Square root of 3 over 3. So the cotangent is going to be the opposite of that. It's going to be 3 over the square root of 3, right?
Would just end up being the square root of 3, right?
Say that again.
Isn't it just because then you want to simplify the denominator? So you would multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3 to get rid of the.
Yeah, if you want to rationalize, does it have it here? Okay. So if we do that, that would be 3 square roots of 3 over 3. And so therefore, the 3's cancel and I just have the square root of 3.
Perfect.
Is that for tangent or for cotangent?
Cotangent.
Cotangent. Because tangent would be the square root of 3 over 3, but we're doing the
Yeah,
inverse
I
of
started
that,
with
so
the
then-
tangent here, then I did the reciprocal because it's the cotangent,
and
and
then
I
we just
rationalized the
rationalized it.
denominator, and then I got that. Because I didn't want to remember all those. I just like to remember sine, cosine, tangent, and then I can figure the others out.
I didn't follow that because your cosine of pi 6 is the square root of 3 over 2. Cotangent's cosine over sine. Square root of 3 over 2 over
Yeah,
1
you don't want
half.
to do it that way. No. Because you want to do the tangent. You want to do the reciprocal of the tangent. So the tangent of square root of pi 6 is square root of 3 over 3. Right?
Okay. Yes.
So yeah. So don't think of that in terms of sine and cosine. That's going to mess you up. So if you want to think of it in terms of tangent, then you can get your reciprocal, and you can rationalize your denominator, and then you get that.
Oh, okay. We're good.
Okay. All right. What else you got?
Number 44.
Determine the equation of the function that is graphed. Okay. So first of all, what's the period on what we have graphed so far? We've only got a half a period graphed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it'd have to be a sine because it crosses the x and y axis right at the center.
See, the funny thing is you could shift this and come up with a bunch of different ones. Don't think I'm going to give you one like this on the final, just because there's not one unique function. I could write this in terms of either sine or cosine, but if this is only half of a period and it goes through the origin, yeah, I'd probably go with a sine function. Okay. And if this is half a period, which is 4 pi, then twice that would be 8 pi, right?
Right.
So let's see. So if we're saying, so period equals 2 pi over b, and I know my period is 8 pi. 8 pi equals 2 pi over b. If I solve that for b, then b is going to be 1/4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so
And because it goes down, going from left to right, it could be negative.
it's going to be negative, right? Yeah,
Right.
because normally your sign would go this way.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay. I'd be shocked if I gave you a problem like this.
I mean,
But
yeah,
it's
like you're
good
right.
practice. Yeah.
You're totally right. You could put it in terms of sine or cosine.
Yeah. You could just shift it 90 degrees, and then it'd be a cosine. Okay. What else you got?
How about 41?
41. The graph y equals the sine of x is shifted a distance of pi8 to the left. Okay. So if it's to the left, is that going to be a plus or a minus?
Be plus.
Going to be a plus. Okay. So given that this is multiple choice, it's going to be A or B. Already we know that. Reflected about the x-axis. Okay. If it's reflected, it's going to be the minus. Okay. Translated 4 units downward. So that looks like 4 units downward. That looks like we got it right there. And then stretched by a factor of 6. There's got to be A. The question is, could you do that one without all of the multiple choice?
We just take it step by step like we did. Write out y equals sine of x and then add in each thing as we go through it.
Add that in there, reflect it, so then it's a negative. Translate it 4 units, okay, downward. So that's a -4. And then stretch by a factor of 6. Okay. It's easier to see when it's multiple choice, but hopefully you could do that without a multiple choice.
So question, when it says stretch by a factor of 6, that's just talking about the amplitude, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I love translations. They're so great.
Okay. You know, I'm used to teaching statistics, and we talk about confidence intervals. You have a 75 and 80, 95% confidence intervals. And then I say, how confident are you in the final? And then people give me a percentage. It doesn't work as well in trig, but how confident are you in the final? Corey's giving me a big 0. No, you're more confident than 0.
Oh, I don't know about that.
How about you, Chris? How confident are you?
I would say probably around 50 or 60.
I hope that's not your test score.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Cameron, how about you?
Me? Or
Do we have both? Oh, we got both. We'll go with Daly first, and then we'll go to Robert.
yeah, I'm probably saying like at 70, 75%.
Okay. Robert, how about you?
Yeah, around an 80. Like, I'm
80%
starting to
confident.
finally like learn all of like how to test take or whatnot in this class, so it's not too bad. Like now
By
that
the
I'm
way,
at the end.
has anybody heard what's happening with fall semester? Because I've asked and I haven't heard. Is it going to be in person or is it going to be? Has anybody heard?
Classes are
got-
gonna vary.
I gotten a few emails. I checked my emails recently, and like 2 of my classes, they went from going to be in person to online only. So
Okay.
My calculus class is now live streaming.
and
I
I signed
think
up
I'm
for
going to
5
do.
classes. Oh, sorry.
I'm just too worried about this coronavirus, and it sounds like the teachers have the option. I had to tell you guys, I know it's harder to learn online, but it's so much better than getting coronavirus. So
They should definitely lower tuition because we're paying the face-to-face tuition, you know? That's what I think.
I don't know from my, and I don't know, it's not, tuition isn't all my salary, but it takes me so much longer to prepare for an online class than it does for a regular class. So much longer. It takes me longer to teach. Normally in my classes, we would have the quizzes in class. I've moved them out of class because it takes me longer. So, and plus they still have to pay for buildings whether you're there or not. But yeah, I hear you. But yeah, I don't know that there's from my perspective, it's actually harder to do it online. But yeah, I don't have to.
From our perspective too.
Yeah. So. All right. So any other questions, or do you guys want to leave early, or?
I'm good with leaving early. I mean, also, I'll be staying for a study group, of course.
Yeah. So, but this is your Jeopardy time. You can ask me any question on here and we'll work it out.
Tomorrow we'll have a lot more questions
Okay.
about the review.
I'm toying with the idea. I probably should do, I think just as a quick reminder, because we haven't tested on 6.5, I'll probably be pretty heavy on that for the final. I'll see if I can come up with a review for just 6.5, although the quiz was pretty close. And your homework, it was funny because there was a couple, plotting points. Those should be really easy, but I'll try to come up with a very short review. So tomorrow's class, let's plan on review 2. Well, yeah, review 2. I'll try to do a short review for 6.5. And I guess actually we'll do review 2 and 3. But you guys did really good on test 3. How come?
Isn't that a good thing?
No, it is a good thing. I just wondering what happened. I know I got an email from 1 or 2 people and they were like, I got a tutor and it really helped. So is that why? Did y'all get tutors?
Yeah, I did. There was like a few questions that I had struggles on and I had to get a tutor.
Okay.
And it really, really helped, especially with the test.
I just had more time to study, so that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the homework was a lot, I guess there wasn't as many questions, so I was able to kind of study outside the homework as well.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be able to post the notes? I don't know if you posted, because I went to check.
Oh, I think I forgot to post the notes yesterday, didn't I?
Yeah,
okay, I'll post
me
those.
A ton. Please.
Yeah,
thanks.
I can do that. All right, well, I think we're out of things. So I'll post the notes. I'll post a review for 6.5. Let's plan on tomorrow. We'll do reviews 2 and 3, since you guys don't have a quiz or homework today to do. And I'm going to update the attendance. So then your grades will be all good. So see you all tomorrow. It will be our last face-to-face. Plan on a 2-hour test on Thursday. And good luck, everybody.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks.